With the motorcycle still in the shop, I decided to leave the city of Goiânia and head on a 13-hour bus ride down to the city of Sao Paulo. From there, I would grab an Uber and take the 2-hour drive to the city of
Paranapanema or
Paranapanema.
How do you say it again?
Is that Paranapanema?
All right, that's where I am.
It's not
To watch the Brazilian championships for paramotoring. So there's a couple things they have to do. One is navigation, one is fuel economy, and I think the last is spot landing. So we're going to enjoy the weekend.
Paranapanema is a small community located in the heartland of Brazil, away from most civilization and surrounded by rivers and lakes and farmland. The competition setting was a bit foreign to me, and when you add in the language barrier, I really didn't have a good grasp on when pilots were competing and what they were competing for. I did recognize a few of the tasks they needed to do, and without bothering Mauricio too much for translation, I tried to extrapolate what the various tasks were. What I did glean out of the weekend was that they were separated by male and female, foot launch, trike, and tandem trike tasks. But my goal wasn't to fully understand the competition, but rather to enjoy the weekend of watching something I'd never witnessed before, make new friends, and hopefully learn something along the way.
All right, so I just found out that Mauricio is one of the people who organizes and runs this event. Behind me is the pilot staging area. This is where they sign up and where they get their tasks. In the field behind that is where the LZ is. So that's where they're going to be launching and landing. So there's several different tasks, and Mauricio was saying this is just one of many tasks that he assigns the pilots to do. I'm not exactly sure how it's scored or run, but hopefully I'll figure something out before the end of this weekend. For the navigation tasks, each pilot carries a map on a board. You can see that right here with pins in it. So as they go over the different points they need to go to, they put the point in. I'm sure they also track them with GPS. I don't know. I know they do a lot of that in Europe, but I actually haven't seen anybody in the States do these type of things, but kind of a big board to carry along with you. Well, there's a few pilots coming in now after their tasks. They're running the navigation task is what they're running. Hopefully they did well. I don't know.
Com o seu nome, o IGC e o número. Você pega seu IGC e envia para ele em privado com o nome e número.
Actually, I was incorrect. They weren't doing navigation tasks, they were doing economy tasks. So they have to be able to show how much gasoline they use to perform a certain task. So it's called economy. Just like any other paramotor competition, they have a pilot's meeting, and so right now they're having a pilot's meeting. Behind me, you can see that there's a bunch of paramotors, and all of their gas tanks are empty. For the next competition, what they're doing is they're doing an economy competition in which each pilot is only allowed 2 liters of gas, and with that 2 liters, they must go through a route. To make sure that each pilot only gets 2 liters of gas, each one of these bottles is numbered with the pilot number. And each one has the oil the pilot wants in there, and only 2 liters of gas. The judges inspect each paramotor to make sure it does not start because it is fully empty on gas. So this guy behind me, the judges are at his unit right now, and they're just making sure that he empties all the gas before he's allowed to put his 2 liters into the gas tank. All right, I'm here with Mauricio. He can better explain what this competition is. You say it's an economy competition, but what's the purpose and how do you win this competition?
Yeah, please one more time. So we are here in a kind of peninsula. It's like a triangle. We
Okay.
put pylons on,
Okay.
and so they have to run around. And each turn they catch 3 pylons.
Okay.
And much pylons that they get, much points they get as well.
So you keep going around the 3 pylons
but
as many times as possible.
a limit of fuel.
Just 2 liters.
And you have to land here. If you land outside, you make a huge mistake. You make a 0 to.
Oh, you don't get any points
No,
unless you land here.
You need to be.
Okay.
You go to 0 to 0 if you don't land here. So.
So behind me, one by one, each pilot is taking off and they're heading to the first pylon, which is back here. And our first pilot that took off is actually almost around the 3rd one already, which is somewhere here. Here's my guess. It's a 6-kilometer loop and they have 2 liters of gasoline. So my guess is somebody on an Atom 80 is probably going to go around 5 times. My guess is 5 laps.
This event wasn't just for the pilots, but also for the spectators as well. A few of the pilots were also acro paragliding pilots or also did parachuting. So, in order to entertain the crowd between competitions, some pilots would go up in a tandem trike and either parachute or paraglide down, doing tricks along the way.
Perfect ending to a beautiful day. Just watching paramotors all day fly and perfect scenery, no wind, perfect flying conditions. What a gorgeous place to be in Brazil. We are here for day 2, and I just found out that this actually started a couple years ago and they only have 15 pilots that would compete. This year they have 73, so the sport is growing quite a bit in Brazil. In fact, in Brasilia they had a fly-in not too long ago. There were 300 pilots and they closed the airspace of the city for the pilots to fly. So obviously a growing sport here in Brazil, which is good to hear about. This is part of the trike competition. What they have to do is they have to weave their way through the cones behind me while keeping the trike on the ground and keeping the wing completely inflated. It's actually difficult because it's fairly windy today, so I'm wondering if anybody can actually pull this off. Oh, and they can't use a small wing. They have to use the wing they fly with.
This task was not just limited to trikes, the participants also had to do this for foot launch as well.
I'm here with Ramon, one of the pilots here who's in the competition. He just did the foot launch, but I noticed he only has one arm. So I was curious as to how he attaches the brake line and handles tip steering with the one arm, and here is how he does it. So for brake, he just pulls down like he normally would, and for tip, he just pulls in. Kind of fascinating. Thanks, Ramon.
Thanks.
This wasn't a weekend of just competition. This was a weekend of passion, friendship, and family. As Sunday evening came, the awards would be handed out and winners would be chosen, but that wasn't the only reason for these pilots coming here. This was a way to share a desire and love of a sport amongst friends. Everyone was celebrated, everyone was admired, and people came together for the love of something few of us do. It's a growing sport in Brazil, and the future looks bright here for men and women who want to enjoy all that it has to offer. This beautiful country and these beautiful people showed me that competing is not necessarily winning, but it's sharing. Sharing a love of sitting in a lawn chair in the sky and enjoying watching others do the same. Though they were competing, each one would help each other, each one would root for the other and wish them the best. The best competitions are when everyone goes away with a smile, and smiles were abundant on this day. That night, I would catch a ride from Paranapanema to Goiânia with a couple pilots that I had met, stopping along the way at one of their houses. And at 4 o'clock in the morning, I would find out what he does for his vocation.
This is going to be difficult, but I need to introduce you guys to somebody. Ichiero Rogério. Okay, that's why it was difficult. The names are hard. But we're here at Flyover, and Flyover is actually a company that repairs paragliders. In fact, over here, he has an entire shop where he can hang the gliders, test the lines, do everything. It's absolutely amazing. So, because the drive back is so long, we stayed at his house, so huge thanks to him and his wife.
While I was there, he took the time to show me how he makes replacement lines as well as the sewing craftsmanship it takes to repair gliders. All in all, This was a fantastic weekend, and I hope you enjoyed seeing the competition with me. Congratulations to all the pilots who competed in the Brazilian National Paramotor Championships, and if you are new to this channel, take the time to subscribe. It's a new adventure each and every week, and at that, I'll see you next week for a new adventure.